Most people think that building a minivan camper has to be complicated and expensive. They think you need thousands of dollars in lumber and a degree in engineering just to get started. But I'm about to meet a nomad named Vinny who proves that is completely wrong. He is living in a brand new Kia Carnival, but here is the catch. He did the entire conversion at minimal cost and with zero tools. It is a genius, simple, no-build setup that proves you don't need a massive rig to find freedom. So today I'm grabbing my camera to meet up with him and show you exactly how he did it. Let's go.
What's up everybody? My name is Peter Vincent Carboni, aka Vinny, and I am a nomadic musician and I live full-time in my converted 2024 Kia Carnival, and I would love to show it to you. So I've been living in this no-build conversion since June of this year. It's worked for me, and I'm excited because, you know, I've been able to travel and see a lot of parts of the country that I otherwise would not have been able to see. I've always been a bit of a vagabond. I really struggle to stay in one place for very long. I'm a cruise ship musician. I've actually never successfully made it through a 12-month lease in my entire life. So I've just always kind of gotten a little uncomfortable, gotten some cabin fever when I've stayed in one spot for too long, whether that's, you know, going from a 6-month cruise ship contract to, you know, spending a month or two on land in a different city, visiting friends or family. And so honestly, when I moved into this van, it didn't feel all that much different to, you know, my previous life. So my last cruise ship contract was 9 months, and that's honestly one of the longest stints I've ever been, you know, living in one spot, although it was a moving vessel. But we visited 20 different countries. And, you know, I had always thought to myself, you know, this is an incredible experience that I'm so grateful for, but I know that there's so much to the United States that I need to see, and so many more states. Like, I've seen more countries at this point than I have seen states. I knew that I wanted to travel around the United States, you know, hitting like national parks and stuff like that. So I figured a camper van is probably the best way to do it. I had just finished filming for Netflix's brand new TV show called Building the Band. I was a contestant on season 1. I did not ultimately make it into a band, but that's okay because the show has completely changed my life in a bunch of other ways. I got back from filming that show and I had kind of like a existential crisis. And I figured, you know, now or never, if I wanted to try out this kind of RV lifestyle, I should just do it now. I have nothing else to lose. So I went ahead and I impulse bought a 2002 Ford E450 shuttle bus out in Colorado that had been converted into a camper van. And it was honestly one of the worst decisions I've ever made in my entire life. I booked a flight to go buy the thing, and then I just bought it after test driving it for 5 minutes, drove it from Colorado to Florida, and then tried to make it to Massachusetts, but only made it as far as Connecticut before it broke down. Long story short, it was very traumatic and it cost me about $14,000. So unfortunately, I was not really able to, you know, recoup any of my losses. I bought it for about 10 grand, spent about 2,000 repairing it and everything, and then unfortunately I had to sell it for $1,000. So it was a huge L, but I'm considering it tuition at the School of Hard Knocks. And it taught me a lot about, you know, what I'm comfortable with and how I can actually do this kind of traveling and live this lifestyle in a sustainable way. Everything happens for a reason, and it kind of propelled me into my next phase of life. I thought maybe, you know, now's the time, I'm gonna put down some roots. And so I tried Nashville. I figured that would be the place to go because I'm a songwriter. Turns out I'm just not ready to put down any roots, and it was not the place for me, unfortunately, right now in my life. So what you're looking at now is kind of what I consider my getaway vehicle. I sold all my things, I quit my job, moved everything else into this van, and I've been traveling ever since. And so, yep, this is my getaway car from Nashville, and I've been living in it ever since. And so I'd like to show you around. It is a 2024 Kia Carnival. I wanted to go with the Sienna, but for 2 reasons I did not. A, I could not afford it, and B, this actually had slightly more space in the back of it. Oh, and also, you know, I like the look of the Sienna. It's probably a more reliable vehicle, but ultimately, you know, I'm a 30-year-old male, and so I think rocking around in a minivan, yours is beautiful. I think for me, it's probably not the vehicle for me. I like the look of this one. It doesn't look too minivan-ish, but I think people might look at me and wonder why does he live in a minivan? So we're left with this, and in the back, the trunk here, there's some storage. We've got storage here, got a little pretend gas light. It's battery powered, but no one needs to know that. I've got my books here. I've got all my clothes in this wicker basket, tons of under the bed storage, which I'm super pumped about. So the whole thing is a no build camper conversion. So I removed the middle row of seats. Unfortunately, you cannot remove the third row with the Kia Carnival. I would have done that just so I could have more space for storage, but you're not able to do that. So they're just folded down right now. That kind of did create like an unlevel surface, unfortunately. So the bed is actually just kind of like zip tied onto a few 2x4s under each of its legs. So that's what's keeping everything kind of level. But again, it's no build, so I can just, you know, take everything out, put the middle row seats back in, and then, you know, sell it as it was a normal van. I do spend a lot of time reading. A lot of times I'm in national forests and I completely lose cell service and I don't want to hook up Starlink. So right now I've got Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials trilogy. Fantastic. I'm on book 3. Other than that, I've got a bunch of other psychology related books and a lot of journals as well. I try to journal as I'm going through this. So the bed is actually like a patio day bed. I got it from Home Depot. It was about $200. I would have gone with a cheaper one, but I'm 6'2", and so all of the ones that were under $100 were not long enough, and I did not want to sacrifice on that. It folds on this end and on that end. It kind of like props up so you can lounge on it, which is really nice and relaxing for when you're reading. And other than that, it's all kind of just zip tied down onto these planks here to create a more level surface, because again, we're going no build. So the bed itself, or the day bed I should say, did come with kind of like a headboard, which that's what these holes are for, because I ended up removing it. But it has like a headboard here, and it ultimately just looked too cluttered in the space, and then I was unable to use these cup holders back here as well, so I went ahead and removed it. This is a bug zapper. I figured I only have to pack the essentials, and I do like zapping some bugs. So this is just kind of like an over the seat storage canvas thing. So I've got you know, just like kitchen stuff in there, some extra zip ties, these battery banks. Honestly, I have more storage in here than I could ever know what to do with. I don't have that many things, so I don't really have that many things to put in the storage. This thing never wants to stay. Honestly, I never use it. The kind of running theme of this whole thing is just, I watched so many YouTube videos of people who would convert these vans, and I thought, oh, I need this fridge, I need this battery bank, I need this USB pump. But honestly, I don't use a lot of the stuff in here, which is gonna sound kind of crazy, but so for the sink, I have this 6-gallon bucket, and it comes with a little canvas carrying case, which is way more storage than I need, but I keep, you know, like little seasoning packets, salt and pepper, stuff in there, some kitchen supplies, Ziploc bags. Behind it is where I get my water. It's a 6-gallon water tank, and I've got this USB pump that I've seen a lot of people who do this kind of thing have. So literally just like press of a button, you get water in there, which is really nice for when, you know, I'll brush my teeth in the van, and then I hate that feeling of having like toothpaste on your hands when you're trying to go to bed. So I'll rinse off really quick in that, and then in the morning, just dump this bucket out, throw it right back in the canvas bucket holder, and then we're good. So for the fridge, we've got the Alpicool C9 PT, and honestly, it is way more than I need. I have been using it as a cooler, unfortunately, but it's nice to have, you know. Also during the summer, you can, it's really nice because you can, there's a wide range of temperatures that you can keep it at. And so while I wasn't using it to keep food cool during the summer, I was using it to make sure that my medications didn't overheat while I was out in the sun all day. But yeah, it's I think it's a 12-quart fridge. And again, it's awesome. It works really well. It wasn't too expensive. I think it was around $160, but it's exactly perfect for me. I'm a solo traveler, so, you know, it's got more than enough space. So when I decided that I wanted to do this, and I was, you know, traveling on cruise ships and stuff, I would spend all my time watching videos like yours, actually, about people who do this full time, people who go camping for extended amounts of time in their vans. And a lot of people would say, just go and try it out, because you don't really know how much gear you're gonna need or how much power you're gonna draw or anything like that. Go try it out so that you know exactly what you're gonna need before you go spend all this money, you know, on things that you maybe won't use. I wish I heeded that advice, but unfortunately I did not. So that's kind of the story with these. I thought I was being super creative, and I spent, you know, a whole day making these. It's just gutter guards from Lowe's, some Gorilla Tape on the ends. And when they work, you know, it's cool because they go right into the window, as I'm sure you know. And I even kind of created these flaps so that there was, you know, no seal or anything. But I figured I'm out in the mountains, and when these are down, it doesn't really let in all that much airflow anyway, unfortunately. So I figured it's either got to be all or nothing. So I would like to go, if I could go back in time, I would buy those socks that cover the entire window. But then again, you know, I'm camping with food in my van, so I was thinking for bear safety, maybe it's best to just keep the windows up all the way while I'm out in the woods and just kind of rely on fans and everything like that. So that's kind of where we ended up. Yeah, so this is the EcoFlow Delta 3. It is an absolute beast of a machine. It is way more powerful than I needed and way more expensive than I probably could have afforded. But I only need to charge it maybe once a week, and it does everything I need it to. You know, when I was first starting out this lifestyle, I thought I was going to be using Starlink every day, charging my laptop every day, charging my battery banks every day. Turns out I really just kind of use it to charge my phone. And so unfortunately, or my laptop as well, but you know, it's a lot of, I charge it for an hour from the wall, and it goes for a week. I can also charge it as I'm going, you know, DC power as well from the car, but it's never really gotten there. I've never run out. It's got all the USB stuff on this side, and then on the other side, I've got, you know, the AC outlets and everything like that, so I can plug in my laptop charger, my Starlink when I do use it. And other than that, it's just a tank. I love this thing. If I could go back in time, I probably would get, you know, a slightly smaller, more affordable one, but this is the one I have and I love it. Now that it's almost December and it's definitely getting colder, I might need to start running an electric blanket or looking into, you know, like a heater that I can use safely in the van. So I'm sure that once I start drawing power in those regards, I definitely will need to charge the unit a bit more. But for right now, I'm good with a sleeping bag, a few layers, and then my window coverings that I put in every night. I wake up in the middle of the night, you know, to use the restroom, at least once anyway. So I kind of will reassemble my layers and everything, and I'll be good. But as of now, I've not, you know, ever been too cold. I run pretty warm as it is, so summer was certainly challenging. At one point I had 3 fans in here going all at once, so that definitely drew a lot of power. But I've also got kind of a backup power station in my storage crates here as well, so I don't think I will ever run out of power, and that makes me feel really secure while I'm in here, you know. So these are my window coverings. I bought them on Amazon. I think they were about 40 bucks, and they are specifically made for this make and model of the car. I have ones for all of these windows. So basically I leave the cab as is because we're going for ultimate stealth here. So all of the windows behind the passenger and driver's seat all get blacked out, but I leave the cab exactly as it is. I want it to look just like a normal car, just because again, we're going for stealth, and so I don't want to turn any heads, you know. So these are my window covers. They pop right in. They're awesome. You know, when I was first starting out, I was super paranoid just about any light getting out. And so I would put them all in and then go outside the car and walk around, and even with flash on, you know, a flashlight on, I would be peering into the car, and you couldn't see it all. It was completely blacked out. So that makes me feel super secure, especially when I'm, you know, camping out in suburbia, to know that it's completely blacked out. To finish blacking out before I go to bed, I have this blackout curtain, which is blue on this side because it's aesthetically pleasing, and then it's completely black on the outside. So if you're looking in, you know, you'll just see black. But I've got this Velcro tape here, literally just bought it on Amazon, Velcro tape. This goes right up, and unfortunately it's not very glamorous, but I do adhere the sides with some Gorilla Tape. You'll see that this whole build is held together by Gorilla Tape, zip ties, and a dream. So no better way to do it, right? And so basically this is the finished product. Got some Gorilla Glue right there, but there are worse things to look at. But when you're looking in from the front, you can't tell at all. You know, at nighttime, you can't tell at all that there's someone in there, that there's anything in there, because you look into the cab and it looks just like a car, you know. The windows are tinted anyway, so you wouldn't really expect to be able to see past someone's driver's seat when you're walking by a car at night. With this curtain and my blackout window covers, I feel completely secure stealth camping pretty much anywhere. So as far as storage goes, you know, living in a van like this, there's going to be a lot of nooks and crannies. So it's definitely taken me a few months, honestly, to figure out the optimal kind of organization of which things actually go in which nooks and crannies. I'm kind of prone to losing things as it stands, so I don't ever buy myself nice things. And I figured that moving into a van, I would have a lot less space, and so I would lose my things a lot less often, but that's actually not the case. That's one of the maybe 2 or 3 drawbacks that I can think of for this kind of lifestyle, is that even in a small space like this, you know, I have to be super, super diligent about where I'm putting things. Everything needs to have, you know, its own designated spot. And if I veer from that once, it can kind of go missing forever, just because it's a small space, but there are so many nooks and crannies that, you know, if it's gone, it's gone. So I've got cup holders here. I've got this guy. This is just like pens and combs, and basically this is kind of my catch-all. I've got a Dollar Tree wicker basket that's, again, my catch-all. This is my keys, wallet spot. When I go to bed at night, glasses, keys, wallet, all of that goes in here, just because in any sort of emergency situation, I want to wake up and know exactly where the things that I need are. So I can just roll over, grab what I need from this basket here, which is securely Velcroed on, and we're good to go. And a lot of other car campers will go with those plastic bins. I went with something slightly more aesthetic. These were $10. I think I got them from Joann Fabric, but you can get them kind of anywhere. But they're $10 each, and so I've got them stacked on top of each other. So the top one is kind of like primary storage, where I keep all my toiletries, some food, my rain poncho, laptop, book, the book I'm reading, wipes and all that good stuff. And then underneath is actually like the more secondary stuff. So refills of all my toiletries and stuff like that. Stuff that I won't use every day, you know, because it's kind of can be a pain to undo this, lug this one off, you know, and then get to the bottom one. But overall, it's worked really well. You know, I kind of rely on just this one crate here. So between this and that, I don't have much stuff. I kind of sold it all when I moved into this van, so this works really well for me. Since I moved into the van, I've been able to see family and friends kind of all over the East Coast. I wanted to go as far west as California, but you know that I did not I did not budget my time correctly enough for that. But we'll get there, you know, eventually. But I've been able to see family and friends in Massachusetts, in Maine, in New Hampshire, New York City, DC, Florida, and then I've been able to go to Nashville as well. Kind of zipping around those 3 regions has been really liberating for me, honestly. And I've been able to travel without the expense of, you know, missing out on family or friend time as well. So I'm a singer-songwriter and I write pop music, and so I don't really record anything in the van, but I definitely do a lot of writing. And everywhere I go, I bring my Fender with me. I just hit myself in the face with it. But it's nice, you know, I can sit here and I can play guitar, and I can sit in the trunk and I can play guitar and just practice. I have, you know, a little set that I've been working on so I can go perform at nursing homes and stuff like that. I also write a ton of original music, so I'll be at like, you know, a beach or a park or something, and I'll just be in the trunk of my car playing music. And I think it definitely turns a few heads, but I've had people come up to me and be like, hey, what's your channel, you know? Because they hear me playing in like a parking garage or something, and they want to hear more. So that's been really cool.
Did you choose the golden hour to meet up, or did this just happen?
It was slightly intentional. You never know. But golden hour seems to be a lot earlier now in Tennessee than it was in Florida. So when I built this, or I say built, but it's a no-build conversion. When I did all this, when I converted this van, stealth was the #1 priority. I wanted to avoid that knock at all costs. So I've not had any issues so far at all, which is crazy. I'm going to knock on wood here, but have been writing and recording and releasing a ton of music. I've got a song that's coming out in about a month. It's called Keep Me Coming Back. So stay tuned for that. I've got Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you stream your music, I'm going to be there. I'm Vinny with 3 N's, Vinnny. So check it out there if you like pop music. I write songs that I hope get stuck in your head and also like pull on your heartstrings a little bit. So if that's the kind of music that you like, I hope that you check it out. I think you'll like it. I'm putting together my own show, which I hope to do on cruise ships and in like small theaters around the US. It's called One Man Boy Band, and it's all, you know, songs that I've always loved to sing from the beginning of my career to now. Being a solo traveler, it kind of folds in nicely. You know, I have all this time on the road where I can, you know, cook up all these ideas and write arrangements and everything in my head and get everything sorted out. I'm producing this show and I'm doing it all by myself. So I've got some recording left to do. I've got some videos. I have to buy a costume or two. That's kind of where I'm headed now. So the van's headed back to Massachusetts. I figure I'm going to spend Christmas with my family. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Vinny. You can find me anywhere you stream music. It's Vinnny. I threw in that extra N just to trick up the algorithm. But I just released a song. It's called No Good at Falling in Love. And it's the one that I've been most proud of. So I hope you go check it out. There's a music video. So you can go watch me splash around in a pool and, you know, get harassed by my family and friends. And I've got way more music on the way. So if you like that, please do subscribe and stick around because I've got way more where that's coming from.